We are 3 days into a partial government shutdown, and a speedy resolution does not appear to be in sight. DHS funding lapsed on Saturday after Congress failed to reach a deal on ICE reforms. They're now on recess until February 23rd. That's a week from today, but leaders could call members back before then if a deal is reached. Following 6 weeks of violent clashes and 2 deadly shootings in Minneapolis, Border Czar Tom Homan announced an end to Operation Metro Surge on Thursday. Still, Democrats are demanding that federal immigration agents remove their masks, wear identification, operate without racial profiling, and get a judicial warrant for arrests on private property. Without an agreement, TSA, FEMA, and Coast Guard members are working without pay. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says something needs to change within ICE when asked about the shutdown.
Hopefully it won't last too long because FEMA is incredibly important and, I will admit, is operating pretty well under this president, at least the people on the ground that are helping people after the natural disasters. But ICE is out of control. They have an American body count. They have injured and wrongfully shot others. They have 2 agents that are being investigated for perjury, and their leadership attacks anyone involved in an altercation with ICE as domestic terrorists before they even know the information. This is a group that thinks they can barge into an American's home with an administrative warrant. We have to stand up for them, and Democrats should be using their leverage to try to get reform and retraining.
House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, a Republican from Minnesota, told CBS News he blames Senate Democrats for blocking compromises their House counterparts already made. Democrats, for their part, contend they're willing to have a good faith conversation. Homan appeared on Face the Nation Sunday, and he addressed the specific demands Democrats want for ICE.
I don't like the masks either, but because threats against ICE officers are up over 1,500%. Actual assaults and threats are up over 8,000%. These men and women have to protect themselves. As far as identifying themselves, they all have placards identifying themselves as ICE, ERO, HSI, DEA, FBI. So they all have placards on them. So I'll let the White House and members of Congress, fight that out.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now. Is the president possibly getting involved here in trying to end the partial shutdown, and could next week's State of the Union play a factor?
So we know that the White House has taken the lead on negotiations with Democrats, and the two sides have exchanged text many times to try to work out a compromise after Democrats put forward a very clear proposal with 10 points that they would like to see happen in order to get this DHS funding restored. President Trump himself has not been directly involved in these negotiations as far as we know, but obviously he is continuing to weigh in on the White House side, making clear what he believes should happen as the White House presents their case to Democrats. And he has talked a little bit about some of the proposals, although not in any detail, I should say, except when it comes to masks. He did point out that these ICE officers must be protected. He also indicated that he knows what the Democrats want. He said, I know what they can live with. But both sides are very hesitant to negotiate any of this in public, so we don't know yet what sides they're willing to live with and what they're willing to concede on. As far as your State of the Union question, Lindsay, that is coming up very soon next week. And the president would most likely not like to have that hanging over him as he addresses the nation. So in terms of how it could impact it in the next coming days or so, when the president returns here to the White House from Florida, he could get involved. He could pick up the phone. He could try to work out some of these negotiations or get all the leaders in the same room, because, again, that hard deadline is there. And it would obviously be preferable if he were able to say that the government is fully open and functioning. Lindsay.
All right, Weijia Jiang, thank you.